Hi everyone, welcome. This is Dr. Bowen. Today we're talking about ethics in social media, and this is going to be a very quick overview because you have the reading in your Blackboard folder. But I just wanted to give you a few contextual type of comments. Ethics in social media relates to the things we've been doing recently because social media is a form of artificial intelligence. In other words, it uses AI algorithms to figure out what information you need, what's relevant to you based on what you've looked at in the past, and what type of information you tend to pursue. So using AI to examine social media data, we can come up with a huge class of ethical questions. We've had problems in the past with Facebook giving or selling data to numerous organizations, most recently a scandal with Cambridge Analytica and so on. Before that, we had a few very famous scandals and different types of cases that I discuss in the reading. Edelman Digital Public Relations was the primary source of one of those scandals, and unfortunately that does not leave us a lot of ethics to go on because it was a very unethical case using deception to make people believe a reality that simply was not true. In other words, it was using social media for deceptive purposes, and deceptive purposes, as we know, are always unethical. So we can apply Kantian deontology to the standards of social media ethics. We can apply a utilitarian framework, but of course deontology is always going to give us a more truth or veracity-based perspective and more rationality. So I think it's important to realize that you can analyze current social media ethics of what you're looking at in your own feed using the standards of rationality, moral autonomy, and of course the three forms of the categorical imperative. When you're acting as a social media manager for an organization, there are some more guidelines that are needed. So I've offered those guidelines in Table 1 of our reading. Be fair and prudent, meaning be wise, be fair-minded, and don't do anything precipitous or calculated or self-serving. Avoid deception. Obviously, that one comes from the Edelman case, but anytime you're engaging in something that's remotely deceptive or concealed, that should raise a red flag that the behavior is not ethical. If you have to keep it a secret, it's probably not right. So use that as your red flag. Maintaining dignity and respect, of course, the second form of the categorical imperative. Keeping away from secrecy. Again, secrecy and things that are behind the scenes are normally there for a reason, and that means something unethical is happening. So we want to make sure that we're acting with transparency, authenticity, and making known with veracity and truth everything that we're doing. So, is it reversible? Number 5 is a standard that is, again, based on the categorical imperative, but it also gives you a little bit of empathy into the equation, meaning what I want to be on the other side of this message. And if you can say it's ethical then you do have a better chance. But of course, that's not the only test. Be transparent. Disclose when something is paid for. When you're talking about advertising, sponsored content, you can't be transparent enough. In fact, being transparent in those instances actually increases your credibility rather than impedes it. So that's why I don't understand why people try to hide sponsored messages sometimes. If they were only transparent, people would respect them more. So clearly identify the type of speech you're engaging in. Is it opinion? Is it sponsored content? Is it impartial analysis? Is it public relations on behalf of an organization? And if so, don't be afraid to say that it is, but just make sure to state that so that people can clearly identify the type of message and clearly identify the sources within the message. And of course, you want to engage in a rational analysis. You don't want to do things that are biased, self-interested, avaricious, only promoting one-sided perspectives, etc. You want to be impartial as much as humanly possible, objective, and unbiased. You want to emphasize clarity. You want to make sure that the message is clear, that terms are not deceptive, misleading, exaggerated. Just be clear. And of course, you want to disclose the relevant and needed information. Disclose where you got your facts and figures. And then, of course, going along with that, verify sources and data that you use. You want to make sure that anytime you're referencing facts and figures, it's something that someone could retrace and verify themselves, so provide sources. Establish responsibility. Say this message is ours, it's from our perspective, and so on. So don't try to associate yourself with another organization unless they are a strategic partner also endorsing the message. Examine the intention of putting out the message via social media channels. Are you trying to do the right thing and the right thing alone? Of course, encourage the good. You want to act in the public interest. You want to engage in communication that builds understanding and provides needed information. And then, of course, you want to also build trust through consistency. Being ethically consistent allows publics and stakeholders to know and understand you. And social media can be used in a number of different situations, not just product promotion and placement, but life-threatening emergencies, disaster situations, tsunamis, earthquakes, evacuation scenarios, and it's oftentimes used by government and public affairs. I've published a lot of research along those lines, so let me know if you're interested in seeing that. But it does go to show that social media can be used in the public interest, and it can also be used with good intention. I hope this information has provided helpful. Think about it next time you put out a social media message, just to make sure you've covered those principles and that you know you're doing the right thing. Thanks for joining me, and I look forward to our next lecture. Take care. Bye.